Feliz Día del Amor y la Amistad. Happy Valentine's, or as they say in Spanish, the Day of Love and Friendship. I am Stephanie from Apex Languages, and today we're going to continue with our discussion on how to greet people. So last time we talked about how to say hello, and what's the next thing you say after that? How are you? You should go practice it on your Valentine. How are you? Women love that. Last time we learned that saludos means greetings. It comes from the noun salud, health. So, how do you ask about someone's health? Well, you have to use the verb estar, and that's one of two verbs in Spanish that mean to be. Estar and ser. We'll talk about the difference between those two later, but for now, how are you? ¿Cómo está? Or ¿Cómo está usted? Usted means you. And in Spanish, remember, it's not required to use the pronoun. Okay, that's why I can say ¿Cómo está? Or ¿Cómo está usted? Now, there are two verbs that mean to be. There are two words that mean you. This one I will talk about right now. Okay, tú is the informal version of you. Usted is the formal. What does that mean? You would use tú to talk to friends, family members, other students in your class, your classmates. If you're in school, people who are the same age as you or younger, someone that you call by their first name. On the other hand, usted is for strangers, people who are older than you, someone who's got some sort of title, authority, your boss, for example. You use usted to show respect. You use tú to show closeness, that there's a relationship between two people. What's the plural form of you? In English, we don't really. It's you and you in the singular and the plural. Spanish has a couple of options. Now, the informal version, like tú, would be vosotros or vos. But these are very regional. And so vosotros is used in Spain, vos is more South American, and I'm not really going to teach you that instead, because there's just so regionally specific, it's just easier to teach you ustedes. It's also easier to remember it. Okay, ustedes is the more formal version of you all, but it's the most commonly used too. So I wouldn't worry so much about the distinction in the plural between formal and informal. Ustedes. Better safe than sorry, right? But a lot of people just use that for everything. But tú y usted. That's one that you'll have to work on over time, mastering the difference between those two. Now, for simplicity's sake, I'm going to focus for the moment just with usted. Because if you're a professional and you're working with someone, you want to show that respect. If you're meeting strangers, I'm assuming that the uses that you will have for your Spanish at this moment will be a little bit more on the formal side. So to begin with, I'll just get you used to using usted. So back to salud. You just asked, ¿Cómo está? Repeat that with me. ¿Cómo está? ¿Cómo está? ¿Cómo está? ¿Cómo está usted? Okay. What's the response? I am well is yo estoy bien. Now, if you remember in the last lesson, we learned buenos dias, buenas tardes. Okay, bueno means good, but I am well. Just because we say good in English, you probably heard this before. It's actually the adverb well that you're supposed to say. So I am well. In Spanish, you can't just say good. You do need to say well. Yo estoy bien. Estoy bien. So let's repeat that one. Estoy bien. Estoy bien. Estoy bien. Now, let's take a closer look at ESTAR itself. Don't freak out. I know this chart looks intimidating, but I'm not expecting you to memorize it all right now. We're just going to focus on these forms here. Remember that verbs in Spanish conjugate. That is, they change the verb endings depending on the person and number. The same thing happens in English. The proof's right here on this chart. But we do it much less than other languages, relying on pronouns instead. Be is always super irregular. Fun fact, it's that way because it's actually the combined form of 3 different verbs from Old Germanic. A more regular example from English would be I walk, you walk, he walks. That S is our form of conjugation. Spanish, on the other hand, has a different form for each person. You have to really train yourself to pay attention to the ending of words. Estar, like be, is a little irregular. Most verbs don't end with accents, and the yo form is usually just an O, not OY. But it is normal enough that we can start looking for patterns. Yo estoy, tú estás, usted está. Notice that the tú and usted forms are different, but usted and the ella forms are the same. That's another reason to focus first on just learning the usted form instead of tú. Not that adding the extra S is hard. It's less to remember. So, está feliz could mean you're happy, he's happy, or she's happy. You'll understand which is which by context. Okay, what's actually happening in the situation, who you're talking to, and when in doubt, it is possible to avoid confusion by using the pronouns. But again, you're learning, you have less forms to memorize, and that should help you at the beginning. The plural forms are we are, nosotros estamos, y'all are, ustedes están, and they are, ellos están o ellas están. The ellos is for men, ellas is females. If you have 100 women in a room and 1 male, it's ellos. So feminists aren't a big fan of that, but it is what it is. So that's the different forms of estar. That's how you conjugate estar. Okay, let's practice real quick. Pause the video if you need to. How do you say I am? Yo estoy. Estoy. How do you say you are formally? Usted está. Está. How do you say y'all are? You all are. You guys are. I'm sorry, we're in the South. We got to use y'all, right? Ustedes están. Están. How do you say we are? Nosotros estamos. Estamos. How do you say she is? Ella está. Está. How do you say to, or maybe I gave it away. How do you say you are formally, or sorry, informally, if you're just talking with your buddies? How are you, best friend? Okay, tú estás. Estás. How do you do, guys? So back to our mini dialogue. How are you? ¿Cómo está? I am well. Estoy bien. But what if you're not bien? What if you're not what if you're bad? Estoy mal. Estoy mal. Estoy mal. So well is bien and bad is mal. And you? Y usted. Y usted? Okay, y usted, because y means and. Last bit of practice. How would you respond to this question? Hola, ¿cómo está? Estoy bien, gracias. Estoy mal, maybe. Okay, but most of the time, of course, estoy bien. And don't forget to say thank you. Gracias. This question's a bit more of a challenge, so if you need to, go back, rewind and take a look at that chart again, or you can go ahead and skip it. You've earned the rest of the day off. ¿Cómo está su mamá? Okay, how is your mother? Very nice question. Ella está bien, gracias. Ella está bien. ¿Cómo está su papá? Él está bien, gracias. Él está bien. All right, so again, está is for usted, ella, y él. Same form. Last one. ¿Cómo están ustedes? Ustedes, remember, that's the plural. So that means how are y'all? How are you guys doing? How are you and your Valentine today? Estamos bien, gracias. So we form nosotros estamos bien. I think I've kept you long enough for today. Thank you, as always, for watching my videos. Check out more at apexlanguages.com and have yourself a wonderful rest of your weekend. Adios.